In this book of short stories by Oda before One Piece, we see what Romance Dawn could have been like. And in addition to that, we get a bunch of really awesome stories from an even younger Oda. I'll be getting into some of the cool details and stories in the book, and then primarily spending most of this video talking about the awesome similarities and differences between this version of Romance Dawn and the one that we got. And trust me, there are some major differences. So believe it or not, while Oda was actually 22 years old when he started One Piece, he had already written, released, and been awarded for a few short stories in the form of manga. Those short stories include a western that won him an award, where we actually see Oda's first use of a wanted poster. A hilarious story about a thief God is fed up with that he actually just wrote because he wanted to draw a building explode. Another about a monk searching for his master. One of them about a master swordsman that was actually adapted for Netflix as a short film, which include kind of first visual takes on Zoro and Mihawk. And of course, one of two, that's right, two original Romance Dawn short stories. I'll get to that in a second. But first, I just want to say that all of these stories are clearly from the same amazing Oda that we know and love today, just with different skins. That being a thief, a monk, a swordsman, so on and so forth. I highly recommend picking it up if you are a fan. And while this compilation of short stories really makes me think of what other projects Oda could have worked on if he hadn't spent so much time on One Piece, if you ask the younger Oda, this was always the main anime manga that he wanted to work on, or at least the main big one that he wanted to work on. So the idea to do a pirate manga came to him in middle school, and one of the reasons why he wanted to focus on a pirate manga with a strong crew and a lot of camaraderie and friendship was because at the time he had just started joining sports and was learning that stuff himself. So he wanted to take that and put it into a manga. However, while he was drawing it and writing it, it just ended up being too many pages, so he decided then and there in middle school that this was the one that was going to make it to Shonen. To quote him, I thought it was a big shot. And now with over 1,000 episodes of One Piece, a live action, a remake of the anime itself with another studio, you are not only a big shot, you are a massive deal. So congratulations to that middle school kid with the big ambitions. Now, as I mentioned to you, this is actually one of two Romance Dawns, but the other version, according to Oda, is much more similar to what we ended up seeing, so he hasn't released that yet, and he thought it'd be more fun to release this. So, what are the similarities and differences? Well, while Luffy has the same powers and inability to swim because of those powers, a lot has changed. For example, I'll give you a little softball here. Luffy's iconic straw hat doesn't come from Shanks. Nope, it comes from his grandfather. And if you're scratching your head right now, you're going to be scratching a lot harder after, because his grandpa is one of the biggest twists, but I'll get to that in a second. Similar to the beginning of the live action and not the anime, Luffy is on a boat. It isn't taking water, but a bird does crash into it and pierce a hole in it. There isn't, however, any sort of barrel that he floats to Alvida's ship in. He is strictly on a boat. That ends up finding a ship, but that ship isn't even Alvida's. It's another pirate named Spiels. Luffy, being Luffy, unknowingly is holding on to the bird and captures it by accident, brings it to the ship, to Spiel's ship, where he finds the bird's best friend. Now you might assume, well, I guess this bird's best friend is Kobe, right? Because that's the friend that Luffy makes on that first encounter. Nope, it's Nami. And technically it's not even Nami, it's Anne. Another difference is that Anne is captured and tied up to the boat, but she is freshly captured and tied up, and it's not by who you think it is. There's absolutely no mention of Arlong. Instead, she was captured by Spiel after destroying and pillaging her village. So, once Luffy gets onto the ship, in typical Luffy fashion, he gets thrown to a jail cell, and Anne, goes with him. And it's in the cell that we hear about Luffy's backstory, which is wildly different with a little bit of similarities. So in this version of Romance Dawn, Luffy's grandfather is actually not a marine, but a pirate. And instead of the whole marine and pirates dynamic, in this case there are two types of pirates, good pirates and bad pirates. The good pirates are called peacemains, and the bad pirates are called morganeers. Essentially, the good pirate's job is to pillage and destroy the bad pirates. And again, instead of Shanks, it's his grandfather who's the one that gives him, or rather, Luffy takes it out of his hands, the gum gum fruit. In this case, he literally takes it out of his hands while he's trying to tell him that he could sell it for 5 billion berries. And by the way, in case you didn't just notice by that sentence, they also use berries in this one. So fundamentally, imagine a world where there are no Marines in One Piece. Or at least that's what it seems like this original romance, this one of these, or at least it seems that this version of Romance Dawn never planned to include any. So while this was awesome, I'm pretty sure we can all say that we absolutely love One Piece, and we can't imagine it any other way. That, like, my brain breaks thinking that there'd be no Marines. Anyways, that's it for me. I hope you liked the episode. If you like more deep cut manga stuff, check out the 10 origins of Eden Zero character names that I dropped a while ago. That one's also an awesome one with a lot of in-depth background knowledge. And until next time, keep it geeky.